Picture this: a world divided, countries in turmoil and leaders making decisions that would change the course of history. We're talking about the seismic event known as World War II. This conflict reshaped our world, introducing us to the might of the Allies, the United Kingdom, United States, Soviet Union, and the aggression of the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, Japan. Key figures like Churchill, Roosevelt, Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, and Hirohito took center stage. Now, let's delve into the origins of this global conflict. The seeds of World War II were sown in the aftermath of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles sought to ensure peace, but it left Germany economically crippled and politically humiliated. This vacuum of power paved the way for totalitarian regimes to rise in Germany, Italy, and Japan. These regimes, fueled by nationalistic fervor and territorial ambition, were the key factors leading to the outbreak of war. These factors set the stage for the most destructive war in history. The spark that ignited the war was the invasion of Poland. In September of 1939, Germany, under the leadership of Adolf Hitler, launched a full-scale invasion of Poland, employing a military strategy that would come to be known as Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War. This strategy was characterized by rapid, concentrated force aimed at a quick victory, and it proved terrifyingly effective. In response, Britain and France declared war on Germany, marking the start of World War II. Despite being unprepared for a conflict of such magnitude, they stood by their pledge to protect Poland's independence. Meanwhile, in the East, the Soviet Union was making moves of its own. Just days after the invasion of Poland, Hitler and Stalin surprised the world by signing the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, a non-aggression treaty between the two nations. This pact also secretly divided Eastern Europe into spheres of influence, giving Hitler the green light to continue his aggressive expansion without fear of Soviet intervention. But the peace between these unlikely allies was not to last. The stage was set for a conflict that would span continents, reshape political landscapes, and forever mark the pages of history with stories of heroism, atrocity, and the indomitable spirit of humanity in the face of overwhelming adversity. These events marked the beginning of 6 years of global conflict. The war was characterized by intense and brutal battles across multiple fronts. On the Eastern Front, the sheer scale of conflict was unimaginable. When Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion in history, against the Soviet Union in 1941, it marked a pivotal moment in the war. However, the unyielding Soviet resistance at the Battle of Stalingrad, often considered the deadliest battle in human history, proved a turning point, marking the beginning of a persistent Soviet pushback. Simultaneously, halfway across the world, the Pacific theater was ablaze. The surprise attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese in December 1941 led the United States to enter the war. Later, the Battle of Midway, where American forces successfully halted Japanese advancement, stands as one of the most decisive victories. In the final stages, the Battle of Okinawa exhibited some of the fiercest fighting, highlighting the desperation and tenacity of both sides. Meanwhile, the European theater saw its fair share of pivotal battles. The Battle of Britain was the first major campaign to be fought entirely by air forces. It was the United Kingdom's successful resistance against an onslaught from the German Air Force. Then came D-Day, the largest seaborne invasion in history, marking the beginning of the end for Germany. The Battle of the Bulge was the last major German offensive on the Western Front, resulting in a decisive Allied victory. These battles, each unique in their strategic importance and sheer brutality, shaped the course of the war, leading to a shift in power. They underscore the complexity and global scale of World War II, a conflict that forever altered the course of human history. The war was not just fought on the front lines. Civilians bore the brunt of the conflict. World War II exacted a horrifying toll on humanity, with millions of civilians losing their lives and countless others displaced from their homes. The war's human cost was staggering. Countless city dwellers from London to Leningrad faced the terror of air raids, their lives upturned by the constant threat of bombings. Food, fuel, and materials were rationed, impacting everyday life in ways great and small. The simple act of putting food on the table became a daily struggle. In the midst of this widespread suffering, one of history's darkest chapters unfolded: the Holocaust. Orchestrated by the Nazis, this genocide led to the systematic murder of 6 million Jews. This unspeakable atrocity was a stark reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink in times of conflict. Civilians weren't just passive victims, though. They contributed to the war effort in numerous ways, from working in factories to supporting resistance movements. Their experiences, their sacrifices, and their resilience formed an integral part of the war's narrative. The war left indelible scars on the civilian population. The human cost of World War II serves as a sobering reminder of the devastating impact of global conflict. It underscores the importance of peace, understanding, and diplomacy in our world today. The tide of the war eventually turned against the Axis powers. The shift began with a series of decisive victories for the Allies, changing the course of the conflict and marking the beginning of the end for the Axis powers. The turning point in Europe came with the Battle of Stalingrad. The German army's defeat at the hands of the Red Army was not only a military disaster, but a psychological blow that shattered the image of Nazi invincibility. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, the Battle of Midway marked a significant victory for the United States and a crippling defeat for the Japanese Navy. As the Allies advanced, they pushed through to the heart of the Axis territories. Germany found itself fighting on two fronts, with the Soviets advancing from the east and the Allies from the west. In the Pacific, the United States continued its island-hopping campaign, steadily moving closer to Japan. Eventually, the Axis powers could hold out no longer. Germany was the first to fall. On May 7, 1945, the German High Command, represented by General Alfred Jodl, signed an unconditional surrender at Reims, France. A few months later, following the devastating bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan also surrendered unconditionally on August 15, bringing World War II to a close. But the end of the war did not mean the end of conflict. In the aftermath, a new world order was emerging. The United Nations was established in an attempt to foster international cooperation and prevent future wars. However, tensions between the former allies soon led to a new type of conflict, the Cold War. This ideological struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union would shape the world for the next 45 years. The end of the war marked a new era in world history, an era of decolonization, technological advancements, and ideological battles. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's remember the immense human cost of World War II and the lessons it taught us. World War II was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the world. Over the course of this presentation, we've journeyed from the aftermath of the Great War, through the rise of totalitarian regimes, and into the heart of the most devastating conflict in human history. We witnessed the key events that lit the fuse of war, from the invasion of Poland to the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. We've explored the major battles and campaigns, each a story of courage, strategy, and human resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. We also recognize the profound impact on civilians, the human cost of war, the Holocaust, and the experiences of those on the home front. The war ended with the unconditional surrender of Germany and Japan, leading to the establishment of the United Nations and the beginning of the Cold War. The echoes of World War II continue to reverberate in our present, influencing political structures, societal norms, and individual identities. It's a testament to the enduring impact of this monumental period in our shared history. Though the war is over, its legacy continues to shape our world. We encourage you to delve deeper into this pivotal period in history.